Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Last night, breaking news dropped in the NFL. Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions have agreed to part ways via trade this offseason. Now, a couple of interesting nuggets came down with it. Dan Campbell, the Saints assistant who's just got the head coach job, was apparently told during his interview that Stafford would not be there by the time he got hired, which would include you to think that there might have been a trade partner already in line. But nothing's happened yet. So today we're going to look at where Stafford can go, what he might get price-wise, and how it shapes the NFL. Before we jump into my teams, let's have a talk about Matthew Stafford. Criminally underrated. I think Stafford's a top 12 quarterback in the NFL when healthy. The man has done a great job in Detroit in his career, but Detroit has never looked after him. So I think the teams are going to look to pick him up are a team that see themselves as a quarterback away. A team who don't like their quarterback situation, but may not be in a draft position or a cap position to go and pick someone up. When it comes to the market of price for him, that's a different question. The problem we have when it comes to price is, from what reports are suggesting, that both sides are going to work together to get a deal sorted. That means that if Stafford has a say in the matter, the price isn't going to be too high. So you can may only be a mid to late round pick just to get him off the cap. With that all being said, I've got three teams today that I think would be a big boost if they got Matthew Stafford. Let's get right into the video. The first team I'm going to look at today is a team I've already predicted. If you go back to a video I'll tag now, I predicted Stafford would be an Indianapolis Colt about a month ago. And it looks like it could happen. With Philip Rivers retiring, the Colts have a massive hole at QB. They're late in the first round of the draft. And unless you're going to go give every penny you have to Dak Prescott in the offseason, which could happen, you don't know what's happening in that quarterback position. Anybody who watched the Colts this year, it was a tough watch. Defensively, they were great. The run game got better as the year went on. And for the middle of the season, for an 8-game span, Philip Rivers was playing incredible football. But near the tail end, it slowed down and it got worse and worse. When the playoffs came around, Philip Rivers looked to be done. The defining moment of their season was when they're up 20 points against Pittsburgh at halftime and lose that game. I think from then their season was over. The momentum had been lost. Rivers failed to make crucial first down. He made crucial plays, even with his feet, against Pittsburgh that would have put the game to bed. And from that point on, I think Rivers' career was over. Now, Rivers is a borderline Hall of Fame player, but I think the Colts just got him at a bad time in his career, the tail end of it. I think if the Colts pick up Stafford, in my opinion, they become a top 4 team in the AFC immediately. He fits what they want to do, and they allow him then that first round pick that would have had to be used in a QB like Mac Jones or Kyle Trask. It allows him to go and get a wide receiver, give him a weapon, someone like Rashad Bateman, or who else would be there in the late of the first round. You might find Jalen Waddle falls, or someone like Rondale Moore, a bit of a yards after catch receiver. That's why the Colts are my first prediction, and probably the best suited place for Matthew Stafford to go. At number 2, I have the division champions, the 7-9 division champions, the NFC East champions, the Washington football team. Now, Washington this year proved that they have a young, dominant defense, but their quarterback play was just horrendous. Tyler Heineke put together a great performance in the wild card to give him a chance, but it did nothing all year. People like to talk about Alex Smith coming back and playing at a high level. He didn't come back and play badly by no means, but he wasn't a good quarterback when he came back. I think if Stafford goes to Washington, they do become my favourite for the NFC East, because at this point we don't know where Dak goes. And there's a lot of cap problems in Dallas. They won't be able to re-sign most of their team because they paid Cooper, Elliott, and they have to pay Dak now. Positionally, I think it's a good fit. I think there's weapons in Washington. Slightly different weapons to what he had in Detroit. You look in Detroit, he had, a lot of 50-50 receivers, deep ball, like jump ball threats. And in Washington, he's looking at more speedsters. I think Stafford is versatile enough to cover it all. Also, someone like Logan Thomas, who stepped up this year. The O-line is getting better in Washington. The defense is just improving week by week. I think if he goes to Washington, he makes them a lot better, and he gives himself a chance at a playoff run. So Washington are my second prediction. My third and final prediction are the San Francisco 49ers. Ever since Garoppolo made the Super Bowl as a game manager, things have went downhill. A very defining game last year against Miami where he threw 2 interceptions and was benched at halftime. He's not the player that they needed or wanted. And the worry is that they have a lot of players that need paid, so a lot of talented players. And if you waste this year of quarterback play to pay them, then you lose players and the team isn't as good. They need a quarterback badly. There's talk about trades all around the league. A lot of whispers about the Deshaun Watson move there, but I doubt they have the value to pull that off. I think if Matthew Stafford teams up with Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, they become an NFC favourite. I honestly would pick them as my NFC champion for next year prediction if this happens. I think Stafford's that good. I think the San Francisco 49ers roster outside of Stafford would be that good. The defense last year was brilliant under Robert Saleh, and I understand he's left, but it was brilliant when riddled with injuries. Terribly riddled with injuries. You look at the offense, there's talent everywhere. They have receivers, Deebo Samuel, they have tight ends and George Kittle, they have a running back room which is elite, a good O-line, and they seem to have the coaching solved. It's always a good sign whenever an NFL team loses a coordinator or loses a coach and they're able to replace them like that. It means that they always had a contingency plan in place. They weren't sitting around waiting for things to happen, and that's the bonus behind it. I think the Niners become far better with a far higher ceiling than Jimmy G ever has. I think if you watch the Super Bowl again, if you put Stafford instead of Jimmy G, they win that game because Stafford makes throws instead of just throwing it down. And I think it makes them definitely the best in their division and probably the best in the NFC, if not top 2 with Green Bay. Saying that, San Francisco are my third and final prediction for Matthew Stafford. And that's it for my 3-team prediction. Only a short video today, but I thought it was an important one because Stafford's going to shape a lot of mock drafts and free agency as the season goes on. Where Stafford goes will affect a lot of teams. If he goes to the Colts, that draft pick certainly becomes a weapon for them. If he goes to Washington, then you're looking at them drafting differently as well. The free agency goes differently. If he goes to Indianapolis, you might find Dak gets less money. That was a place where Dak would get a max contract. So it sort of falls all around the league. Only a short video today because tomorrow we're going to head back again with our perfect rebuilds. We're going to go to Philadelphia next week for the perfect rebuild. That'll be an interesting one, obviously, with their new coaching staff. They've just got from Indianapolis with Schirini. But we'll talk about that tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Please like and subscribe to the video if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you all tomorrow.